Okay, this is TempleOS 5-minute random code walkthrough episode 70, and I'm your host, Terry Davis. And where are we today? We are in the FAT32 driver. I don't want to talk about this, but I guess I have to. This is, I hope to get rid of FAT and have just Red C. You know, I just overhauled Red C. I want to get rid of this. I should talk about Red C. Oh, well. So, find files. So what this does is, I don't have a find first, find next. I have find files, and it gets a list of all the files matching the mask. You give it a mask. This is called by find files. Files find, I should say. Files find is, whoops. Oh, there's even another level of indirection. Okay. Files find calls sys files find, and that breaks it down by file system type. So we want to get rid of FAT32 and ISO 9660, and if we do that, then suddenly the code gets much simpler in addition to everything else. So in addition to removing this, so the FAT32 has a short name and long name, and the long name is spread out over multiple directory entries. The directories have, I think it's 32 byte entries. And so I guess I'll walk through this. So we set up, so we go linearly, we traverse the directory from start to end, and we construct a long name out of gradually out of a couple entries, 32 byte entries. Directory cluster. Okay, so I have a routine that gives us the cluster of the directory, scans down from root, goes from root down to what it is, and we allocate a block. Then we read the first cluster of the directory. On Red C, a cluster is exactly a block all the time. In FAT32, a cluster is usually multiple blocks. They do that so that they don't have so many little tiny allocations. Anyway, so then we go through the directory. I guess the directory is terminated when it gets a 0. So get the attribute. So it's either a long name or it's a I don't remember this. I'm just guessing. So if the first character is E5, it's a long name, I guess. So this is crazy the way this the name is split up over the name is split up over bytes in the entry. Anyway, so let's see what I do there. So we go through and we keep adding to the name over multiple entries. So is that what we're doing? What's DE ord? DE is FAT32 ord. I thought the FAT32 directory long. Let's see what this is. Yeah, it's got the name split up. They broke the name up into 3 pieces. Oh well. whatever. I want to get rid of it. I really want to get rid of it. I did not do the short name correctly. When you're writing a new directory entry, you're supposed to, if it's a short name, it's abbreviated with something like name tilde 1. Let's suppose you have a long name, 2 long names. You start doing this stuff. And in order to do this, you have to check if there's another one that exists. And so that's just too much effort. I want to get rid of this. It's temporary. So anyway, and then it's got the attributes are not very pretty. It has 8 attribute bits. You can look at the FAT32 spec. So FAT32 has 8. I added some more to my attributes. They do combinations of attributes to make different meanings. A long name is this combination. This is how you have to AND it and then see if it equals this. So as I read the entries, I build up a long name if it's encountering multiple short names. And so when I finally finish making an entry, I add it to the linked list. This is a tree. The directories have a subtree. Otherwise, they have a linked list to the next entry. And I'm very nice. When you call my find files, I give you the full path name allocated off of a member just for convenience. So you don't need to make your own. You do have to unallocate it though, free it. Change directory. What is this? What are we doing? So this is if it's a directory, I guess. If directory fill. If it's a directory and we have recursion, then we add to the subdirectory. I don't see where I'm checking recursion. Oh, there's where I'm checking recursion. Now it has an attribute of directory that we mark if it's a directory versus a file. They don't have to be sorted they are not sorted. They're just, anyway, so when we finish all of that, we read the next cluster, and when we finish all of that, we have a sort. I do believe I give some special. So files find is the user. That's the public routine, and it's either set up to look for a single file if you give it a mask saying single file. Otherwise, we call sysfiles find. Now, what this does after it collects them, if I have an option to flatten a tree. So if you want to take all those recursive files and flatten them into a single linked list, that's what this does. And it gets rid of the directories since they're not meaningful anymore. The directories after you flatten the tree are meaningless. It's just files. And then I have an option to sort by cluster. Ordered I/O is when you keep the disk head from jumping around. If you're accessing multiple files, you probably want to go in the order to move the head smoothly across the disk. So this will sort based on the order. I don't have a name sort option. Anyway, so when you do a directory listing, it sorts it. But anyway, so this sorts by cluster number. I want to get rid of FAT32. And I want to I want ISO 9660 to just be a Red C image. Red C is like FAT32, but it's contiguous files, and it's a bunch of bits instead of FAT table. It's got an allocation for each block, a bit for allocating each block, And once we do that, I like eliminating terminology. I'm going to get rid of the word cluster, and we will just have blocks. And you know what? Just today I want to get rid of the name sector and just use the word blocks. This is that's my highest goal, is to simplify. Anyway, so if I can get rid of the word sector and cluster so that new kids will just have to learn what a block is, that's my goal.